Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is a 2017 American superhero film based on Marvel Comics superhero team Guardians of the Galaxy, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by the Walt Disney Motion Picture. What's good is a Boydie reviews, and today we're going to review the sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy and the 15th film in the MCU, written and directed by James Gunn. The film stars an assembled cast featuring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, David Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Michael Rooker, Karen Gillan, Pom Klementieff, Elizabeth Debicki, Chris Sullivan, Sean Gunn, Sylvester Stallone, and Kurt Russell. And what is this movie all about? Well, set like 6 months, I'm guessing I'm guessing it's set like a few months. It's like directly after the events of Guardians 1. After an outrageous mission, Star-Lord and his team of the Galactic Defenders meet Ego, a man claiming to be his father. However, they investigate the secret of his parentage, and a lot of interesting stuff happening in this film. Anyway, the film was announced in San Diego Comic-Con International in 2014, and James Gunn chose to set the sequel shortly after the first one to explore the characters' new roles as the Guardians, as to follow the storyline of Quill's fathers established throughout the previous film. And the film premiered in Tokyo April 10th, 2017, the US and UK on May 5th, 2017, and it grossed more than 863 million worldwide, making it the 8th highest grossing film of 2017, while also outgrossing its predecessor. The film received praise for its visuals, direction, soundtrack, humor, and performances, particularly those of Rooker and Russell. Though some critics deemed it inferior to the original, it received a nomination for Best VFX at the 19th Academy Awards, and a sequel is returning with director Gunn returning. And what do I think about this film? What is my opinion on it? Well, let's talk about what I like, and let's talk about the good. And the good of this film, just looking at it, is the visual look. Out of all the Marvel films I've ever watched, out of all the comic book films, out of probably any film of this past decade, this has got to be one of the best looking Marvel movies I have ever seen. My god, my gosh, my gosh, this film looks beautiful. The color palette, every frame has an interesting color design, every frame has an interesting cinematography, every scene looks like it just looks so delicious. It's beautiful, When we go to Ego's world, oh my gosh, when I was watching this in cinema, my mouth just dropped. I was just like, this is beautiful. It was beautiful, and it's breathtaking. The colors, the vibrant colors just look beautiful and just phenomenal. I couldn't believe how amazing this film looks, I love the opening sequence with the Guardians fighting this squid monster, and the visual effects, the designs, they just look great. The color, sorry, I have to go back to the colors, but man, did James Gunn really improved. Wow, this film looks beautiful. It looks freaking amazing. It's just a beautiful film to look at, and oh my god, bravo Marvel, bravo. This is definitely the best looking MCU film out of all of them. And as well as this being great, I love the characters. The Guardians of the Galaxy are great. Peter Quill, Gamora, Drax the Destroyer, Baby Groot, Rocket Raccoon. I love the way these 5 guys just kind of work off one another. I love their banter and wittiness, but as well as them having the same vibe and all that, there's a little bit of tension in the group. You've got a little bit of tension going on between Peter Quill and Rocket. We see a bit more of Rocket reasoning to want to he's always has this urge of stealing things, and it gets the guys into trouble in this film. And I love how we have all this tension and stuff happening, and it's just oof. Rocket and Yondu's kind of buddy team up was possibly one of the most, probably the best, one of the best parts of the film. I freaking love those two, the interactions and all that. I thought it was freaking amazing. I love Nebula and Gamora. They have this freaking insane fight on Ego's planet, and I freaking love like those two. We get a little bit more like depth and like characterizations in them, you know, particularly Nebula as well, you know. And yeah, it's very, very good. It's very, very interesting. What I noticed about this film is that as well as it having an interesting plot, it's more character based. It's a very character based film. It's not like you know, a preview for Infinity War or Guardians 3. It's like it's just focusing on these characters and the situations and how they're gonna get out of it, and I freaking love it. Baby Groot is just adorable and just lovely, you know. I freaking miss Baby Groot so much. I thought he was so adorable, you know. Teen Groot is a bit, I got mixed feelings on Teen Groot, but Baby Groot was probably my favorite incarnation of Groot, you know. He has this innocence about him, but he's a freaking savage when he wants to be. Like, my gosh, is he a savage. And yeah. And how do I think about Ego? Ego, I have to admit, is a little bit interesting. Surprisingly interesting, you know. He's not my favorite villain. Spoiler alert. As I said in the beginning, there's going to be massive spoilers. But yeah, Ego is the villain, obviously, you know. I mean, yeah, this film's been out for a while, so you've got to have known that. He's not my favorite villain, but I kind of understand his reasoning as to why he kind of wants to do what he's doing in a way. But his plan is just really weird and wacky, and his transformation, it just becomes even crazier, you know. And yeah, this is where we come to our mixed aspects. Is that some of like the scenes can get a little bit crazy and weird. Like there's this whole weird time jump where Rocket and Yondu are like kind of like hyper driving through the solar system, and it is weird. This film has a lot of weird imagery, you know. Like there's a sequence with Peter Quill and Ego fighting, and he turns into Pac-Man, and I'm like, the heck is going on here? It's fun to look at, but I just think it's a little weird and just goofy at times, you know. And it's just yeah. And I do like this soundtrack. It's not as catchy as the first movie soundtrack, but it's still pretty good, you know. Yeah, I like how this film has a proper score as well. Like it has a nice score, and that score was done by Tyler Bates, and yeah, it was pretty nice, you know. But in terms of my negatives with this film, I do have quite a few, and maybe not a few, but it is one thing that I don't like, and it's definitely the tone of this film. Not the look, but the writing in it, like the way it kind of like, the way it speaks to the audience, you know. Jerky at times, you know. It felt like a very nasty film at times, you know. Like, it felt like a big F you to us in a way. It was like, damn, like the stuff that was happening. I felt like there's a lot of sequences where an emotion scene would happen in one bit, and then it would cut to something really stupid and bizarre, you know. And the swearing in this film is just a little bit like, ooh, I mean, for a 12 rated film, you know, like it sure does have a lot of swearing, and it's extreme at times. And what I mean by it having like a lot of like, you know, like the tone being bad is that when the serious moments would come, they would replace drama with comedy, and it would always just not work, you know. And there's a lot of scenes where it gets really intense, but then they just ruin it with jokes, and I'm just like, it puts me off, and it's very it kind of just, it doesn't care about being serious, and I don't like that, you know. And it's the whole film throughout, you know. It's like you have a serious moment, then a joke, a serious moment, then a joke, and I feel like it's very distasteful, and that's the main reason. It may be one reason, but it's the main reason why I don't like it. Personally, I do like the plot of the film, I really do, but I kind of wish we had more. Like, I wish, like, the first film had jokes, but it took time to be subtle and to be a bit serious, you know, which I like. But this film is like, you know, it doesn't want to be serious, it just wants to be an all-out comedy in a way, and it just, maybe that's what it is, and I just don't like it. But I just, when you're coming off a film like Captain America Civil War, you know, or Doctor Strange, it just comes across as a little bit just too much for me, just a bit too much. And for that, I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give it a B. It's not bad, and I do recommend it to watch. It's got good visuals, but that's my opinion. What do you think? Please like and share this video and comment down below and tell me what's your favorite MCU flick. With that said, thank you for watching, and as always, Boarded Review signing out.